major projects like this Telaga Papan, Technology Park, Silicon Valley, you mentioned this, the Kemaman Biopolymer, the forest plantation, 30,000 hectare, Pulau Kerengga, that one, I think that is further down the question on port and commercial port. So that one, they also on track of this major project.
I would consider we are on track. Of course, the first priority when we come to the office is to look at whatever project left by the previous administration. And then try to save those projects in a minimal way. I give you the examples of one of the project which has been laid down and planned by the previous administration in Bandar Baru Kijal, for example. Original cost is about 250 million. We managed to scale down, shave out some unnecessary things, and we managed to save 100 million. So it's now become 150 million. This is one of the example, and we do the same to other initiatives. Like Kenyang, like zoo, like some of other things, and of course some of those still involve some legal issue. Then we let the legal avenue take place.
But Kenyang is a mainstay, a main an anchor project,
well, this is the problem with any initiative by the previous administration. The money has been spent, big portion of that, at least, of course, more than 50%, and some of these projects 70%, 80%. Of course, we have the freedom to cancel that outright. But if we do that, what will happen to the structures that has been built, even though it's not yet completed? And this is where we are very realistic and objective. Things that we can scale down, reduce their the infrastructures and all that, and things that related to that. If we can reduce that and also incur a small amount of money, then we do that. So yeah, I think this is what happened.
So under your administration for Kenyang, is there any special focus or any specific development that you?
We are going to continue, but reduce focus. Reduce in terms of money spent. Yeah, and functionality. If you go down to Kenya, for example, the complex, the duty-free complex, and some of these the expo, so-called expo, the complex and all that, nearly completed. We are going to finish those.
The theme park?
Not the theme park. The jetty.
Oh, jetty.
The jetty. We are going to complete those, and then of course the function is not going to be mega function, but it's at least to serve the purpose, because it's already there. But not to incur any more money, any extra money which has been planned. Number one. Number two, any of this project that we can tailor-made to include and increase people's participation, then we do that. For example, Kemaman Zoo, for example, which come into I think 3 phases, 2 or 3 phases. Phase 1 is completed. Phase 2 is under in the pipeline and involve a lot of money. While reviewing the phase 2, which need to be scrapped, some of those big things, then we can reduce the amount of money. I told them, the authority for the developing the Kemaman Zoo, you need to increase local support system to participate in the economy. For example, you need to find a way, how do you surrounding people, kampong's people, to participate, to become a vendor, for example, to supply grass for the animals, or to open up the store or install, for example, restaurants in the surrounding area. We have to plan to that as well. It's not just one thing that you prepare and then that's it. So increase the people's participation.
So it's also a problem of poor maintenance.
Poor maintenance, that.
So it will be completed. Now is second phase.
The first phase is already there. Second phase, they have to modify a few things. I agree for them to modify, then they will give me the proposal. I have not yet received any proposal.
Last 5 years and next 5 years, any figures or stats like to
Industrial performance, I think
number 9.
The
Number 8 and 9.
8 and 9, the 2012 to 2018, so far, source from MIDA, Terengganu received 11.91 billion investment, 55 projects, 16,437 jobs created.
16,000.
Yeah, from 2012 to 2018. 16,437 jobs. Of course, when we come to 2017, where the oil and gas sector is coming to the lowest spectrum, then we have some job retrenchment and all that. But of course, we hope that it's going to be temporary hiccup, temporary issues.
I mean, from next 5 years, are we targeting the same amount?
Next 5 years, as I said, in terms of job creation, we target to have another 20,000 jobs.
20,000?
20,000 jobs. 4,000 per year, 5 years, about 20,000. And then I haven't put any numbers on the investment yet. We are reviewing now and try to put some realistic numbers.
In terms of GDP growth, how many percent?
I think now we are talking about 5%, if I'm not mistaken. We have to check the real numbers. But the GDP is growing about 5%. We have no problem to maintain that, because of course in the certain people, economists, for example, they want, let's say, 8%, 7.5%, 7%. It's good numbers. For the economists, yes, but the priority, well, 8% or 7%, even 10%. It's hard to say. The numbers is statistic. Whether the numbers realistic and reflected to the people, the bottom 5% of the people of Terengganu or not, it's another thing.
Bottom 5%.
Yeah, at least the
The
bottom.
bottom 40, B40.
Yeah, of course B40, but they are the hardest group of people. B40, and then of course the bottom 5%. They are the hardest people who face all the problems. But whether the growth, the good numbers of growth, it's 8% or 9% that people are always been telling is good numbers, whether can be reflected to the bottom or not, or whether those who are enjoying that good numbers is the top 10% of the population.
The state population.
Yeah, state population. So sometimes the numbers is misleading. Yeah, for example, I mean, this is what we play around with statistics. I consider myself as a scientist as well. I look at the numbers and statistics. For example, if you increase the billionaires in Terengganu, for example, we get 2 or 3 billionaires, new billionaires in Terengganu. And of course, the total GDP, household income also increase. But whether that's really true or not on the ground, on the B40. In the note, for example, people saying from one this year, let's say I attract one project, one investor. Next year I get 2. Oh, my performance is 100%. The statistics say yes, 100%. But whether that's really true or not, I mean, in terms of the holistic value, it may not be true. Misleading. Can be misleading. The first investment I bring, for example, this year, 500 million. Next year, we have 100, about 600, for example. I total about these 2 years, and yet I still can say I have 100% performance to bring in investors.
100% performance.
Yeah, 100% performance. But if you look at the numbers, from 500 million to 100 million, then meaning what? Meaning that's reduced in real performance. So this is the sometimes I don't blame economists, but sometimes I blame the people who crunching the numbers.
but when you say you 100% performance, because
No, I give you examples. I give you the example how statistics can be misleading sometimes. So if we are talking about 5% growth, and then let's say we target 7% or 8%, we can target whatever number we want, realistic numbers. But whether that's really translated into the B40 or not, is another thing. So my focus now, my priority, to get them, the people down there, to get the benefit. And that same goes to the project.
So far, since Doctor has been helping this
State.
to Besar, the reception that you received so far, the response from the inquiries and
Very positive.
from foreign and local.
Foreign and local, very positive. They come to me, they come to my office, they come to our ESCOs, we talk to them, and I give them my commitment to help them. And we have some positive things in the pipeline that we are discussing now. I think it's very positive.
What are they really attracted? I mean, what is it in Terengganu that they are really keen to seize?
Well, I think they'll start with the resources that we have. Yeah, silica, we have oil and gas, we have steel, iron ore. They will start with that, and come to, and after that the port that we have. Of course, we need to add value to our infrastructures, which is very much needed by the investors. Connecting road, our port, our infrastructure like power supplies.
What are your plans for this infrastructure and services and amenities in terms of building?
Basically, if we talk to the investors, let's say they want to come to Dongon, for example, what they need, of course, a piece of land to park their business activities. If it is a green land, we have to prepare proper infrastructures, access road, access to the all this electricity, waters, and all that. And then come investor number two, and they say, "Oh, I want another piece of land," and we have to do that as well. That create unnecessary burden to us, because that's coming from a unplanned industrialization. So what I'm doing now and planning now, if we have a proper industrial park that we can prepare all the necessary infrastructures, gas pipeline, water supply, electricity, access road to certain plot, we can attract as many as any numbers to come over there, and everything is ready, rather than do piece by piece. So the key point is to identify a piece of land or many pieces of land in various area, in various district, and then put them under industrial area.
So in terms of industrial estates, do we have enough now or barely enough?
Barely enough, and we need to get more. Rather than they do themselves, they think of, oh, I want to have my factory here. Then you have to manage one by one. It's quite difficult that way.
On the west coast, along the west coast, some private sectors doing the industrial estate.
Correct.
Instead of traditionally government.
Yeah.
So Terengganu, is there any private sector?
So far not. If we have industrial area, for example, we manage. We have a proper authority to manage that. But at least myself, I'm very open to any ideas. If any private initiative they want to come in and propose industrial park, then so be it. I'm going to look at. The main thing is, will benefit the state, will benefit the people of Terengganu.
So these investors, industrialists, they are not concerned that we have different federal government, different state government, different parties.
So far, their requests or their inquiries are not related to that. Yeah. And I remind them as well when they ask about the federal government. That I told them this is a new beginning of Malaysian politics, in which we don't have this scenario where almost all the states government comes from different parties as compared to the federal government. In the past, whether you have at least you have almost from the same, or with the exception of Terengganu and sorry, Kelantan and Penang. But I mean, there are Menteri Besar coming from Bersatu, there are Menteri Besar coming from PKR, from DAP, from UMNO, from PAS, and then at the federal you have that kind of politics. So each one of those political parties, they have their own share in the states, various states. So, and I told them, I talked to our Prime Minister, and I think the first 2 weeks when I become the Menteri Besar, I talked to privately with Tun Dr. Mahathir. I hope we can have a good relation between state and federal. This is a new beginning. Let the past be the past, how we handle between state and federal. If the state of Terengganu need to have a good and prosper investors coming in, we hope the federal can entertain and simplify to make less bureaucracy, for example. And he agrees that he want to move forward. So I think in that case, in that sense, I'm very positive. We are going to have a good response and feedback from federal.
This is the meeting with three of you and
yes, with Tun. I think I forgot the date, but very much earlier on.
So now it's September. So royalty, any good news? What is the
So far, I claim myself to the fact that they want to give a royalty directly to the state account, and through we are waiting. Hopefully this month or next month, and we'll see after that.
I mean, since the last meeting with Tun, any follow-up meetings?
The last unofficial meeting, and then next after that is I have official meeting, Majalah Keuangan Negara, together with all the MBs, Menteri Besar, Chief Ministers, with the Prime Ministers and Minister of Finance, and we have some discussion also on the royalty during the meeting. Or royalty, it was minuted that royalty will go straight to the states.
Regarding this Telaga Papan and Silicon Valley and whatnot, because I understand this is on the assumption that ECRL will go ahead. We're going to have ECRL. Now, it looks like we may not have the railway after all. So is this going to affect the project a big deal? Or?
Of course, without railway ECRL, this is going to affect our supposed planning for not just for the silica, but for any industries for that matter. But we have to adapt. Adaptation number one, of course, we are going to communicate and talk to the federal government, to our Prime Minister, to relay our concern and express that railways is our concern that need to be proceed. Of course, we understand the concern by the Prime Ministers on the cost of the railway, and I think we share the same thing. We share the same sentiment that the cost is high and we have to scale it down. But on the principal basis, we have to scale down. Well, there are two things that we need to decide. Number one, whether the ECRL is important. Number two is about the cost. We have to agree that the importance of ECRL, of the railway. If we agree on the importance of the railway, then we come to the next question of the cost. If we cannot bear the cost, or the cost is too high because the terms and all that is unbalanced, one-sided, for example, then we have to find a way how we can overcome that, not to cancel the project. If we need to come up with some private initiative, our own private initiatives, or any other investors coming from anywhere else in the world, then so do it. If we have to scale down the likelihood of the railway together with the substation and all that, then we have to do that. For example, if we have around 7 substations from Kuala Lumpur to Tumpak,
How many?
I think 7 or 8 substations. The station. If we earlier cost, for example, 100 million for that station, then why not we scale down that into some minimal function? We may able to reduce the cost if we can survive without any offline, for example. There are some offline that come into different areas to suit the needs of the people. Super line.
Yeah.
Then if we need to cut off that, then we cut off first. We prepare the basic one first. So this is the I believe this should be the way how we tackle. We adapt with the problem rather than cancel it out. For example, if you want to prepare to build your house, we have a piece of land, we want to build a house.
Gradually.
You have the money of a certain amount of money. Of course, you need to prepare accordingly. Of course, your aims and your ambition, you want to have a castle-like house, for example, but you don't have the liberty of the money, then you have to scale it down. And same goes to the railway line.
So has this been communicated?
Yeah, we're communicating
We are
unofficially. Yeah.
Through the media?
Not through the media, of course. Being a strategist myself, I'm an election director for Malaysia, for PAS Malaysia, that looking and handling all the election machinery across the country, Malaysia.
You still?
I still hold the position of the directors, and that involves strategy and all that. Dealing with this also involves a strategy that I'm using that way now.
Okay, and number 12, state revenue. So, based on what we read in the social media, very tight financial position. Is the state financially okay?
We are.
So what are the measures?
I think it's manageable now. Manageable. Of course, it depends on the oil royalty, and we believe that we are going to get that. But of course, other things that we want to look at under our Minerals Act, Terengganu State Mineral Policy, which need to be reviewed. And I think I've spoken this during the Dewan session, Dewan Undangan Negeri session.
Will be
reviewing. We are reviewing and still not come up with some numbers. The purpose of reviewing, of course, if you look at the minerals acts that we have before in Terengganu, that also explain on the tribute from, for example, on silica. At present, we are talking about 1 ringgit 20 cent of silica, of sand, tribute to states per cubic meter. And that's not fair. You know, we're talking about 1 cubic meter sand, we put sand inside that box of 1 cubic meter, and the state only receive 1 ringgit 20 cent. And this is for the past many years, and then of course cheaper than the mineral water. much cheaper. 500 milliliters of mineral water costs 1 ringgit for the mineral, not drinking water. So can you imagine how far left behind with that? So we are reviewing that to get a good numbers, and which is not being reviewed for the past many years.
Any other measures to
Yeah, this is on the mineral policy, and then of course we are going to, because we don't have the state mineral policy, a proper one, to address what we want to do with the silica, for example. Anybody want to come in and do to propose their business in whatever ways, right from the simplest one, taking out sand and sell it outside, to much complex and more high tech. Whether we are going to allow that or not, we don't have any proper policy. So we are preparing the policy now. How we are going to tackle those?
When will it be finalized?
I think by the next sitting of the Undangan Negeri.
End of the year?
End of the year, the end of November.
Together with the budget?
Together with the budget.
Okay. And then, like incentives to pay land tax and tongkatkan lah banyak.
Well, taxation is another issue. Of course, the big chunk of taxation issue coming under the purview of the federal government. We also just handle some of the local issues under PVT, like cukai, boat, perahu, cukai, local councils, tax related to land, for example. We are reviewing those, and then we are going to table in the budget what would be our approach, and very much depend on the big chunk of our budget which coming from oil royalty. If we really, I think, well, we are believing now. We believe that we will get the money. Then probably some of those we are able to knock off some of the tax that involves people at the lower income. But I have yet to announce anything because we are still looking this month and next month. What's going to be the position, or the final position of the oil royalty?
So, best estimate how much the state get
for oil royalty? If you are talking about $70 per barrel, $70 per barrel, we are going to get around 1.6 billion per year. So as people make their forecast in the oil and gas, the coming next year probably crude oil prices are going to increase to 100 or near 80 or 90. Then we are talking about 1.7 or 1.8 billion going to receive by the states. Even at $50 per barrel, we are going to get about 1.2 billion. So we are talking a good number of 1 billion per year minimum.
This is based on
oil price.
Production, not net profit.
No, based on production as stipulated in the agreement. People can make comment and all that on various ways how to calculate, but our position is very clear. We base everything which has been signed in the agreement.